And this is Harrowings, and this is where we get our different perspectives from. We rake up the surface and we see what'll sprout. We don't know. But we started talking about some of the thought of Robert Anton Wilson of recent memory. Bob was the Pope of Discordianism, and he would make his audiences popes as well. One of the first acts of a Pope of Discordianism, by the way, is to, if you meet another one, you immediately excommunicate the Pope. So, because it's discord, right? And we're getting
Okay.
joining us. You've joined us, and Dave Carter and Omar so far. I don't know either one of them, but if you want to tell us where you are and how you are, well, we're going to be talking a little bit, so you can chime in with questions or whatever. Over to you. What do you think about your reality tunnel? How's it looking?
Well, that's a good question. I think it looks different from moment to moment. But I think we forget how much our upbringing and how much media and people around us shape us, you know? And I think it's good to stop and kind of do this like check-in and see what is going on, really, like question things and be curious about things, not immediately just react, because I think we are in a really reactive society, like, oh my God, no, it's my truth, it's my truth, it's my truth. Uh, But where is that truth come from? Right? So it could come from books, it could come from what your mother or father told you, it could be come from a religious leader. I mean, we don't know where is all the information come from. So I really like this reality tunnel awareness idea, that to kind of do this, like ask the practice, and you send me this. What reality tunnel I'm in right now? And what would this look like from someone else's perspective? So do you want to do a practice? Should we do something like pick something from life and kind of play this out? What do you think?
I don't know.
I just don't want to do politics.
Well, reality tunnels, basically, this is what it said in the little thing I sent you about that, because we
Yeah.
started with reality tunnel, which was number 2 on the list of things.
Yes.
And it is that use this when you feel stuck or outraged or certain.
Yeah.
Notice that your experience of reality is shaped by filters, upbringing, beliefs, media diet, trauma, etc. That's exactly what you were talking about in your own words.
Yeah.
And the practice is, what reality tunnel am I in right now? And then you ask, what would this look like from someone else's tunnel? I have no idea, but I
So
doubt
I
it's what
actually
it
have one.
looks like
I
to me.
think I have an example.
Okay.
You
And
want to
then
play a little bit?
I was going to finish reading.
Okay, go
Six
ahead.
lenses, which is to try viewing a conflict through a religious, scientific, capitalist, or anarchist lens, just to see. And then
Hmm.
why it works is supposed to build empathy, reduce over-identification with an ideology, and help you shift mental states. Because I think one of the big dangers, hey, Angel Woods, is that we do end up thinking of kind of rigidly and
Hmm.
ideologically and not seeing the perspective of others. But you've got an example, so let's go ahead.
Well, something that kind of triggered me today, and I wouldn't say I was outraged, but I got a lot of emotions, which doesn't happen with me often right now with my brain. So I think, and I know when I talked about this before, some people got really defensive. So this might be a good one. Um, we went into a little town called Újpest today, because we went into a doctor office that my mom needed. And in front of it, there was a memorial for people who were lost during COVID. And that got me really emotional, because it talked about the people who were lost, and specifically also talked about the healthcare workers that were lost. And during COVID, I worked through COVID as a nurse. It was really tough. I gave a lot of vaccinations. I did a lot of exams, not knowing if I could get this disease and I could die. And we had we had doctors and we had people and we had a lot of patients who we lost. And it was really emotional for me to see this memorial. I did a little snapshot of a video and a picture. And then I had a conversation with my mom about people who are so against vaccination for COVID. And I seen what happened when people were not vaccinated. People were dying, you know, and I know that there's a lot of people against vaccines. And I feel like in my mind that I guess maybe I'm a little outraged at the people who are against it because I've seen at firsthand what happens. And, with my degree in public health, I also know that prevention is the best. And here in the midst of the pandemic, people are dying. And we never questioned about childhood vaccines. We didn't question about other vaccines. So why is this,
Well, you did and do.
There you go. So this is my thing. What do you think? How should we challenge this? Or look at it from another perspective?
I don't think I have it handy, unfortunately, but my father wrote an article about colonial germ warfare. And, they started inoculation against smallpox back then.
Mm-hmm.
You realize how far back this goes and what a terrible scourge smallpox was.
Yeah.
And we don't have it anymore. It's like one of the first viral diseases, I believe, that has been eradicated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously there are some benefits to that, but they also that causes an awful lot of people don't die of smallpox now that used to.
Yeah.
They're still around, maybe. And I've got all kinds of ideas about population and the damage that human beings do to the planet and how the herd might need thinning. So I'm taking a different perspective, right? I'm stepped outside of the reality tunnel. I'm a different one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not a virologist. I'm not a doctor. I interview a guy who's a specialist in phages, which are those things like viruses that attach to bacteria. They can really help with, problems with antibiotic resistance. He's a startup dealing with that. I don't know if you've ever caught the Everyday Junglist on our show. He's a real great
I don't think so. Not yet. No.
A lot of fun. And we always go places. He lives in Tijuana. He drives up to the border. He'll take me on the drive up to the border just to show how easy it is to drive up to the border. And usually I don't get to go through the border with him, but see the wall, that's been built. So I don't know. There's a lot of different things going on out there in the world. And I would personally, and I am, vaccinated right on the arm. That's actually an old joke. Do you know the Groucho Marx film, Animal Crackers? Actually, Marx Brothers film, Animal Crackers. No, you don't know Animal Crackers?
I know the Animal Crackers. I don't.
Well, the film. Groucho is the famous African explorer, Captain Jeffrey T. Spaulding, who was being feted at this Long Island mansion. And he's trying to marry two women at the same time in this little interaction between the three of them. And one of them says, "Isn't the captain charming?" And the other one says, "I'm fascinated." And he says, "I'm fascinated too." Right on the arm, like vaccinated, fascinated. So it goes back. That was 1930, I believe. Anyway, my point about this, I guess, is what you're talking about the outrage, the feeling of like, how dare they not want people to be vaccinated against this scourge when people are actually dying of this. And yes, people are dying all the time. And the point is, and people make choices. And if they make choices that lead to their deaths, that happens a lot. And how upset am I supposed to be about this? I can do what I can to educate others, and I'll probably be more successful at it if I put it in some state of humor and charm and, try to be more like Groucho.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answers to these things. And I guess that's...
I know, and this whole idea is just to question it and try to look at it from a different angle, right?
Right.
And
I
can also
do
look
think
at it from
there's
the
real
angle,
danger out there for people, though.
Yeah.
And they need to be aware of it, and we need to do what we can to put the tools in their hands.
And that's all we can do.
And,
On the other hand,
and show them how to use the tools. Go ahead.
yes. And
I'll
on
be
the
a
other
minute.
hand, if I look at it from the point of the people who did try to do everything to protect themselves, and then there's this other group who didn't. And, vaccinations in general, they are just part of a protection. It doesn't mean that you don't get the disease. It could mean that you don't get it as severe. But even if you don't get it as severe, it doesn't mean that you don't get sick or you might not die from it. It kind of depending on kind of what conditions you are. There's people who have heart conditions, lung conditions, all kinds of things. So it's kind of, okay, so I'm trying to protect myself. You decide not to protect yourself, but you still come into my bubble and infect me. So, yeah,
And that was what I felt about the masking too. I was
yeah,
masked up pretty early on, and I even got myself some ski goggles because I knew of the infection route to the eyes. I just rubbed my
yeah, yeah,
and I caught myself doing it, which I unconsciously do all the time, touching my face. And then they're not sterile anymore, for God's sakes. You gotta go and sterilize again. Again,
yeah,
another great Marx Brothers movie along those lines is The Day at the Races, where Groucho plays a doctor. But he's not really a doctor, he's a horse doctor, but his patient, Margaret Dumont,
yeah,
thinks he's a doctor.
yeah,
He tries to give her horse pills. It's
yeah.
raucous, just the chaos, the anarchy of the Marx Brothers. So I don't know why they keep entering into my head.
They just,
They
that's
live
what
in
just
there.
let them.
I can't get them out. Um, meanwhile, which explains a lot. Um, meanwhile, we're getting comments over here. Not everyone
Yeah,
hears. The masking thing. I
yeah,
was sensed that people were not taking it seriously and not protecting their neighbors, not thinking, "Oh, the masks aren't gonna protect you." No, they're gonna protect other people from you.
exactly.
What
Yeah,
hospitals, right? That's why the surgeons don the mask when they go in to do surgery on you.
yes,
You
yes. It's to protect each other. Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And if
yeah.
we protect each other, we did have a chance of maybe diminishing the rapid onset. I'm
Yes,
not
or slow it
sure.
down a little bit. And Angel, yeah, you're right. You're right. Not everyone is a carrier. And we are doing this argument, like we are doing an exercise right now, and we picked a topic
Where?
for kind of doing this exercise. But it's this kind of good to try to look at things from a different angle. And I really enjoy those points that you sent me, Hop. And I don't know if we want to pick another one. Do we want to pick another one? Or you want
I keep on going on this one for a lot.
let's
I
go?
mean,
Okay.
I could do anything. Let me look at what else we got. I mean, reality tunnels are one thing. This is the way we look at things, and we need to step
Yeah.
outside and see other perspectives. That's the long and short of it. And I've got you here, and I scroll back up to where I had that posting. And this was a little fun. There's the actual baby logic at the beginning is use when you're tempted to declare something absolutely true or false.
Uh-huh.
How you do it is you add the word maybe to all strong assertions, yours and others.
Yes.
Practice instead of this person is wrong, say maybe there's something I'm missing or they are. Instead of everything is corrupt, try maybe there's corruption, and maybe some parts still work. Why it works, it reduces cognitive rigidity, avoids binary thinking, opens up new options. And it keeps us from killing each other to some extent, I think, or just
Maybe.
canceling each other, right?
Maybe.
Through a cancel culture
Yes.
where people were canceling other people because they were saying the wrong things. So therefore, that person was basically treated as though they did not exist anymore. Did you get exposed to any of that?
I don't know.
You
I
don't know.
lost. I lost the train of thought. Sorry, my brain just went somewhere else.
That's all right. Where do you want to go? Let's go there.
No, it's just like I literally blanked out for a second. I'm sorry.
That happens. But the
Yeah.
bottom line is when we do cancel other people, and I do, occasionally I'll get cross with somebody and I'll just decide I do not want to know that person anymore. And I have basically just cut off all access to anything that person had of value. And
Okay.
everybody's got things of value, right?
Yes.
You can learn from anybody. And it
I believe
just
so.
and I think that in the political spectrum, we're driven to basically say, "Oh, nothing that person ever does or says can be any good." I mean, I think a lot of us feel that way right now about our sitting president here in the United States. Nothing the man can say will ever be good. Everything is gonna be evil. It's all gonna be wrong. Um, he's absolutely condemned by the bulk of the population, in spite of the fact that we basically elected him collectively, with a lot of people abstaining. And I think a lot of people don't take any responsibility for their part in all this. That's my little reality tunnel that I tend to live in here in Washington, DC, is I walk down the street and I'm like, we collectively have created this world that I'm observing and I'm living in. I've been responsible for it. You've been responsible for it. Everybody who's on the planet is responsible. And whether we take responsibility or not, that's an entirely different matter. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. So there's my maybe logic and function. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong. It's possible. It's always very shocking.
Yes. I think
Coming up.
no, yeah, I mean, I think it's important. I really like this prompt in a way to question, maybe to add that word into anything, not to create uncertainty, but
Mm,
it's kind of the same way as the previous point that we talked about. It's just to kind of try to look at from a different perspective. And I do agree, we can learn from anybody because even if people do bad things, we can learn from them and hopefully not repeating them, but actually we keep repeating as humanity. We keep repeating our mistakes. We keep going into wars. We keep hurting each other. I don't know why. And I don't know how as the maybe for that. Maybe we just meant to destruct each other. I would hope not. I would hope that we meant to survive and have some joy in our lives, but yet we keep doing destruction and war and sadness. So I don't know.
third. That
It
brings me
is.
to Duck Soup, another Marx Brothers movie.
They just keep coming to you today, don't they?
Well, Duck Soup is set in Fredonia, where Sylvania has declared war against Fredonia, and, things are gonna go badly. Um,
Mhm.
and these 2 countries go to war with each other. It doesn't really resolve well, and it played in 1933, just at the time that Hitler was coming to power in Germany, so it
Mm.
actually didn't play that well, as it turned out. It was a little too close to the nose, this war kind of footing. But, the absurdity of it all was definitely there to be seen. So, we could do a seminar on Marx Brothers now. But the yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that people are born hating one another. We have to be carefully taught. You remember that from South Pacific, perhaps? You have to be carefully taught was known as a song. They need to be taught bigotry and
Mhm.
looking at others as though they are less than human. That is something that our species does all the time.
But why? Why do you think that is? Why
Oh,
can't
very
we be
closely related.
human and kind to each other? Why is this happening? Why can't we just look at each other and say, I acknowledge you as a human and we are the same. We are the same species.
I believe we're getting better at it, but I believe we've got a long way to go. I think that we haven't really been even thinking of others that much because we lived in little communities until fairly recently. We have this ability for me to talk to you in Hungary for practically free.
Yay!
Right? So
But we just have to pay for the internet, and have a computer and all these kind of things.
all
But
right. In 1994, when I came to the University of Pittsburgh in August, I got an email address. I'm not sure if I got it active until like September or so. I realized, oh, if I have somebody else's email address, I can talk to them at distance. And I don't have to
yeah,
write a letter. I don't have to buy a stamp. I don't have
yeah.
to do a long distance phone call, which costs money.
Oh my gosh, that was so expensive. Oh wow.
And the world has transformed as a result of that. And my life has been completely different than it would have been if it hadn't have been for that. I one time got to shake Tim Berners-Lee's hand, and I thought I wouldn't want to wash my hand for a month or something after shaking hands with this guy, because he's the one who developed HTML.
Oh my goodness.
Somebody else probably would have done it if he hadn't have, but he did it.
My grandpa used to
Not much
design.
older than me.
My grandpa used to design like phone systems,
Uh-huh.
and I I don't know if he lived long enough to get into the internet, but I was kind of wonder what would he say to all this. And I think of my grandma who never learned to drive or um, never had a computer, never even had a cell phone. I don't even think if she might have had a phone. We just discuss in the old days. We discuss, I'm gonna meet you there, and you better be there because otherwise you're not gonna see the person. you know, like you talked about. Okay, in a month we're gonna meet in this coffee house, or you wrote letters, and now I can just say, "Huh? Like, do you want to do another life?" And you get back to me, and here we are. It's
Yeah,
magic.
exactly. I was walking back up from, getting my wife's prescription when I got your message, I think. Or maybe I was at the cafe, I forget. But I was out and about, and I got on with Origin. I don't know if you saw that one, but, we talked for about 90 minutes earlier today. Interesting conversation. Um, and we hit a lot of different topics, and a lot of them were very similar, you know,
Okay.
of, like, how as humans we relate to one another so that we don't hurt each other, so that we help one another. She's got a thing that she just started called New Foundations Initiative, a
Hmm.
nonprofit, because her husband's in construction. They have some land out there in Oklahoma,
Oh,
and they
nice.
find people who need help with things like grab bars or whatever is necessary for them to stay in their homes. New porch railings or something on their houses. Things that they couldn't afford otherwise. As they
Okay.
age, neighbors who need this kind of support will be able to get support from New Foundations Incorporated, or initiative, it's called. So that's one thing. We can actually take action to help one another, and that's a really great
Yeah.
initiative thing for them to take on themselves as a young couple. She's about 40 now and has some kids, and they're raising animals and such too. It's a really fascinating person to talk to. She's also started something called fairAIeconomy.com, which is supposed to be a platform for creatives to own their own work, so
Hmm.
they aren't constantly having extraction taken from them, as they do work. Because after all, the economy for creative artists is very extractive of the creative artist's work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people a lot of people asking for our time, right? And not just our
Yes.
time, but time is money. That's the great American revelation, as I like to call it. Time is
Yeah.
money. Yeah. And how can we treat people better? How can we support each other? I think Substack is a great model for that. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I think so. I also think that just, simple things, being kind, being open, being just like what we are doing right now, putting yourself out there, supporting other people, like how you just supported Origin, how we support each other with just elevating each other and not being competitive. I can support you without being, oh my God, I want something. Actually, meet and have a conversation just to have a conversation, just to discuss what we feel important without wanting anything. I think that's the start, just to be kind. I wrote a poem recently about I did like a morning kind of thing,
mm,
meditative poem. And it was just about, what if we are just kind to each other? And let's say I am kind today, and I imagined like this beautiful, amazing flower growing out from the earth, this beautiful, magical
yeah,
um, kindness flower. And
yeah,
then you're kind, and then Origin is kind, and then Angel Woods, who joined us, is kind, you know? And then all of a sudden, now there's 4 flowers. And then people look up these magic flowers, and then they want to grow one. Like, we can be examples I guess, how to be kind. And the more of us are kind and nice and human out there,
Yeah.
the better this world's going to be. That's my hope.
That's my hope too. I think being kind has been a big message that's been coming out of the culture for years now. I mean, Jack Kerouac said, try a little kindness and you'll find you're in paradise right now. And I just picked up this book by my friend Brian Hassett. Whoops, there you go. The
Okay.
Hitchhiker's Guide to Jack Kerouac, who did On the Road. I think you know that one, right? I think everyone
Yeah.
knows On the Road by now. But it was so sweet, and the tradition continues. Actually, Brian has inscribed this heavily to
Oh,
me,
look at that.
and that's sweet.
Yeah.
I hope to have him on soon. He wants to talk about the new film, One Battle After Another. Have you heard
Okay.
that one?
No.
It has got a lot of awards. Very recent film with starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay. No, I have not seen it.
Anyway, it's probably going to get Oscar nominations and stuff too if it hasn't already. I'm not really tracking it myself, but Brian is, and so we'll talk about it at some point when we get an opportunity. Brian's written a lot of books. This one is probably one of the more popular ones, The Hitchhiker's Guide to Jack Kerouac. So I try to promote Brian's work, and you know what? He's kind of fascinating guy. And all I had to do was pick up the phone and call him, and we
Yeah.
ended up having this talk. And I kept missing my exits because I was driving down to Virginia. I forget exactly what the scenario was, but it doesn't matter. The
Yeah.
bottom line is that we all can have conversations with one another kindly and listen to other people's perspectives without canceling them, right? If
Yes.
they disagree with us, whether it's on vaccines or otherwise. I'm vaccinated, other people aren't. I've gotten
Yeah.
all the COVID shots I'm supposed to get. I've got my shingles shot. I don't want shingles. I've seen people have those, and it's
Oh
not
my God, it's so painful.
exactly. You got it?
There's so many people I heard from. It's so painful. Well, the vaccination can be a little bit uncomfortable. My spouse got a little sick after, but it's much better than suffering from a nerve pain because of shingles. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've had nerve pain myself, but I don't think it's shingle related. I don't know what I get,
Hmm.
to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Maybe a little dehydration every so often. I get this pain in my feet. The nerve endings start firing off when nothing's
Hmm.
wrong. I was thinking I was getting like some sort of dermatitis or something, but there's nothing visible. So it's got to be something like that. What do you got there?
I have a book. This is a poetry book that I wrote, and
Okay,
it's called 101 Universal Messages
great.
and One Call to Action. Did I show you this one before?
No, never.
Okay. So I just because that we talked about kindness,
Good.
and this book I dedicated to my grandparents, Szarvasi Magdolna and Körösi Kaufmann András, and they had suffered unimaginable circumstances and survived. My grandmother, I don't know if I told you before, she was in Auschwitz,
Oh my
um,
gosh.
and she actually had a gun to her head when the American troops came and saved her life. So I'm forever grateful for the troops.
You'd never have known
And
her, huh?
hmm?
You would never have known her had the troops not arrived when they did, huh?
Well, unfortunately, she died when I was young in her second heart attack.
Mm.
But um, I
But at least
I
she
don't have a memory of her, but there's a few pictures, and
uh,
um, she was a policeman in Hungary, like a second in command as a woman police chief in Hungary. She couldn't be the chief because she was a woman, but she got as far as she could. So I just felt like I wanted to dedicate this to her and also to my mother and father because I can thank my life for them. And my call to action in this book, I just felt like, I put together these poems, but I wanted to do something more. So my call to action is a little dialogue between a mom and a child
okay.
that, okay, it just takes, it's pretty short. Call to action by Gabriella. Our world is magical. Let's keep it that way. Mom, yes, my child, why can we not go outside? The air is toxic, my little one. I'm sorry. People before us thought they could do whatever they wanted to Mother Earth, and she became toxic. Mom, I'm sad. I would like to go and play outside. I'm sorry, my child. My heart is bleeding for you. I wish we could go back and change things while we could have.
Mhm.
Today, Earth has so many toxins, piles of garbage, nuclear waste, and toxic chemicals laying around. I think every single person can make a difference. Each of us can help Mother Earth and the future of humanity. That's my call to action.
That's a great call to action. And I remember from this morning that I was talking to my friend Origin, and we were talking about the need to mine our garbage,
Hmm.
recycle the things that are recyclable in it. And she was wondering if there was initiatives like that in Europe. I said, no, not just in Europe, they're in Portsmouth. Portsmouth, Virginia is, and I looked it up while we were talking, put the link into the chat,
Hmm.
and we could talk about that because when I was a kid, I realized my plastic toys did not disintegrate out in the yard like my wooden ones might,
Uh-huh.
and I thought that was probably a problem. I remember, like, being about 3 or 4 years old asking my mother about this and saying, "Is
Hmm.
it not good that these plastic things will probably outlast us?"
Uh-huh.
So, you see what I mean? It's exactly the same theme as your poem,
Yeah. It is.
and we weren't taking action, we're still not.
Now we are taking a little bit of trying to recycle, but there's what if we just don't make plastic,
That's an idea, and have you,
right?
heard of the poet, he probably thinks of himself as a poet, Mark Maron, by any chance? I just put it in the
No,
chat
I
too.
don't think so.
He's a comic, and he does stand-up. My wife and I saw him at the Kennedy Center, and there was same room they had the, Kennedy Center Honors, and just him on a bar stool. It's huge, place. But, we were up on the balcony listening to his show, and one of the things he observed was like, we brought our own bags. I guess it just wasn't enough. Sorry."
Mhm.
And we're laughing at that, but at the same time, should we be? I mean,
Yeah.
I get a lot of my news these days, or when I read on the news from watching The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. He comes back every Monday or so. Not this past one because it was President's Day, but next Monday he'll probably be on the Comedy Central um, Daily Show. And the audience is just cracking up over this horrible stuff that's happening in our world.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what the answer is entirely. I think a lot of us are kind of inured to it all. We kind of do look at it with the idea of like, oh, yeah, this is not good. Yeah, it's all going over the edge, but what can we do? We're powerless. Each one of
I
us.
don't think so.
Go ahead.
I don't think that we are powerless.
That's what
I think we can.
I feel though. But go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it could feel like it, yeah, because it's a huge world and it's a huge universe. And yes, we are a little speck on a little speck or a little speck, a little tiny, tiny dust particle. But I always like to have the visual that one drop can change the color of the ocean, not by itself, but you keep adding the drops. And then after a while, things have to change. But if nobody does anything, nothing will ever change, right? So if we can do small things, just I'm using my glass instead of using a plastic bottle, instead of using something that I can throw out. I'm cooking outside instead of buying something in a plastic container that I'm just going to throw out or I can't even recycle because it's not a recyclable container. You can be mindful how you buy things in a store, but also the more and more corporations join. And if they're business adventurists who open things that they make stuff from bamboo, that they make stuff from things that are reusable, I'm all for reusing, recycling, recreating, instead of just buying. Also, how much stuff we do really need,
It's a good question.
right?
And we overconsume. I have overconsumed. In fact,
I'm
and
sure I did too. I did too. I'm sure I bought things for my kids' toys that they didn't need it. But I'm more mindful now. So I'm forgiving myself, and I'm just trying to do the best I can and talk about it, create art about it, write about it.
create
And
community about it because it's really down to the community to force
yeah,
change if we're going to have change. One of the things I've noted is I would really like to pressure my favorite grocery stores not to use plastics for the
Yeah.
pack. And I believe it's possible for them not to, but I don't see there's a pressure for them to. Because, of course, the costs would be there to change how they're doing things. But who's responsible for that? Us
But
consumers? I
so
mean, I
what can
you
you
really
do?
are responsible for that. Boycott?
Yeah.
You can boycott. And
Or you can take your little bags and,
but no, but no, I'm talking about the packaging they're putting everything into. Like, if I wanna
oh,
buy
they're putting
a bag
everything into. Yeah.
of power greens, it's a plastic bag full of greens. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be, but it is. So that's
Yeah.
the kind of thing I'm talking about. Their packaging, not just
Yeah.
carrying not
Oh,
just
I
bringing
see.
your own
I
bag
see.
like Mark Maron was talking about. "Sorry, folks, guess it wasn't enough. We brought our own bags. We tried." But, yeah,
Oh,
that's
I see
the
what
joke,
you're saying.
right?
So
That's
I
the
guess
joke.
just buy fresh when you can. I don't know.
Exactly.
You can
Farm
keep writing to them and say, "I really want you to try not to get the stuff."
Here,
That's
farmers markets exist,
yeah,
but people don't use them because they're not as convenient as going over to Trader Joe's or Safeway or wherever. And looking at these big conglomerates, if they were pressured by the consumers, they would change, but they're not.
mhm.
They don't, right?
Well, I guess if all the food would rot, that it's in plastic.
What?
If all the food that's in plastic would rot because nobody would buy them, they would stop buying them too.
Well, definitely the dollar matters. So what I try to get across to people is a very simple message. Every cent spent is a vote
Mhm.
for the
Yeah,
world we are co-creating. And if you don't like it, look at your spending.
yeah,
Also look at your personal actions, definitely, because it's not just spending. But for most of us, we are homo economicus anymore because we are so wed to a supply chain for stuff. Look at this Reebok, right? Um, sure, I can't make this material. I have no idea how to manufacture whatever this is made of, which is probably synthetic or some,
yeah,
and yet I bought it. And therefore, that money flowed into the supply chain from the retail store at premium outlets down in Williamsburg, Virginia, on Route 60 to be precise. That's where I got it years ago. I've owned it for years.
yeah,
It's practically indestructible, right? You can't really, this will never break down. Um, but I'm not buying a lot of them, thank God.
yeah,
I didn't make a choice, and I contributed to that machinery that created it.
yeah.
And we're not mindful of that for the most part.
Well, I think we can also be mindful how we use things. You want to see something kind of cool?
Okay.
I mean, it's simple, but it's really cool because my mom just found that in her house, and I didn't know she even have something like this. She found a towel that she bought for me when I was a baby, and this towel is 51 years old,
Excellent. It looks
and it's
refreshing to me.
still in perfect condition.
Mhm.
You know, because it's a good quality towel. So
Yep.
I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna save it to see if my son or daughter is gonna have a baby. I can give it to them.
Yeah.
And I just love how quality used to be made. That it didn't fall apart in 2 years. There's some things that now you buy and they just fall apart. We actually got a few pair of socks when I was here because we had to get some winter boots and they needed more like thicker socks. One of the socks had a hole in it after washing it for the first time. And I was just like, this is unbelievable. This is a brand new socks. It should not have a hole in it, right? But there we go. So quality also matters because you need fewer things if they are better quality, if they last you a lifetime or half a lifetime, but that's not good for the corporations because then you don't buy as many, right? So that's another conversation.
Exactly. Well, this is a very important conversation, and people need to be mindful of these things and take action because actions matter. Nothing else really does. We can
Yeah.
believe all these things. We can talk about it till the cows come home. If we don't take action, if your call to action doesn't get anybody's response, it's so much sound bouncing off the eardrums or so much information bouncing off the retinas. And we're swamped with information, but we
Yes.
always have been at some level. Our ancestors also were swamped with information. They had to
Just a different type of information.
fight.
Yeah.
It's like the information about, oh, that movement over there out of the corner of my eye may be a predator,
Mhm. Mhm.
maybe another human being, even worse or as bad.
Yeah, but it is true that the current information is too much for us, and I was listening to that video you sent me, and the Prometheus Rising one, and the second part, it was talking about
Mm.
how at this point currently in our life, the fast pace of information that's coming in, we can't really process it. It's too much. We were not built to be supercomputers. We were not built to be continuously have these advertisements pushed and go, 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 go. And I think this is so important, because there's so many people, like one every third or fourth people in this world suffering from mental health issues, anxiety, depression, severe mental health issues. And it is because we are not built this way. And I think we need to slow down. When I'm saying the royal we, I'm saying we as humans, because I do believe that we are all connected in some level. And I think the anxiety, the depression, the mental disorders are rising because we're not meant to function this way. And we are all having like this certain social anxiety and this social, like hopelessness in a way,
Oh, yeah.
because we are so disconnected from nature and each other and just into these, like, I feel so sad when I see kids just playing the games and don't even sit down to have dinner together and don't even engage in a conversation. And
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen if we continue this way. I think we are distracting ourselves.
Oh,
Mhm.
definitely. And have been. And will continue to until something breaks. And then when something breaks, we'll make art out of it, probably. That's what we tend to do. We tend to make art, music, and literature out of things. And that can be used to communicate down the years because, this news cycle and the information cycle that goes through in one ear out the other, it doesn't stick. But music,
Yeah.
art, literature do stick. So that's what I tend to gravitate towards and have
Yeah.
hope for, because it might be right to despair in this kind of culture in which we find ourselves immersed. A
Yeah.
reasonable person would, but hope is unreasonable. And actually, right now, I'm riffing off of Robert Fripp's quotation in which he talks about hope is unreasonable and music remains, a friend to us all. And his thing is King Crimson. I probably tried to turn you on to that before. And I listened to that quite a bit because it's very dense, heavily arranged, impeccable in terms of
Hmm.
its precision, and also at the same time, very creative and cacophonous in times, very difficult listening for a lot of people. But it requires a certain discipline of presence. It requires of its listeners to be present as well. And I think these are the things that will redeem us in the long run. Therefore, we need to have art, literature, and music in the schools and not just
Yes.
your programming. And a computer programming may be the thing of the past anyway. Have you heard about Claude lately? And the coding that's being done by Claude is getting to the point where people don't code anymore. In fact,
Yeah.
a lot of the work that was done by the fellow who just got bought by OpenAI, what was his name? He's an Austrian chap.
Yeah.
He started OpenClaw. Have you heard about that?
No, I have not.
Anyway, all of that's the technical side of things is running away with us at a speed that's practically. Have you ever run into Lex Friedman out there? He does a podcast. A lot of times they're long form like ours.
No, no.
No, well, he's worth checking out. I
Okay.
think he's originally Russian, but
Okay.
he's been doing these podcasts and he's had a lot of different guests. But we'll listen to the one with this Austrian chap. And I don't know, my mind was blown. And in that, I also saw hope for the future because we're still going to be human. We're still not far off of the savannah. We're built, like you said, for a more primitive world. And I have friends here. We call ourselves Civilization Anonymous,
Okay.
because honestly, it's trying to kill us.
Yeah.
And it will kill us if we're not careful, just like
Yes.
lion would kill us on the savannah if we weren't careful.
Yes.
So, how different are we? How different is this experience? And how can we help the next generation? How can we be good ancestors?
I think build connections, support each other, encourage each other to slow down, encourage each other to get out to nature, to protect nature so it's there for the next generation. I had something
You know, a lot
mind-blowing
of
happen to me.
conservancy, actually. Do you know the Nature Conservancy?
Yes,
There you go. Go
I
ahead.
know Nature Conservancy. I applied to about 50 jobs with Nature Conservancy. I got denied of all of them,
Sorry.
but
That's
I
the
keep
way of
trying
the
to get a
world.
job with them because I would love to do that, but I keep protecting nature any way I can.
They'll probably let you be a volunteer, I bet.
Yeah, but I do need to pay those bills, huh? So,
I understand. I was looking at Amnesty International's openings just recently too.
oh yeah,
Yep, same. You know, I'm sure if I applied, I would be rejected for the jobs that are available that look like they'd be interesting for me. But you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and you
well,
might miss what you do take.
I think one of the problem is with the jobs right now. I think they are screened with AI. So I think I'm not getting any chance because I'm not talking to a human. I'm not getting a conversation. Nobody says, "Oh, you actually I actually like you. I think you could do this because I like your philosophy. I like your degrees. I like your whatever." But I think with the screening with the AI, if you're not exactly matching what the description says, you're not chosen. Maybe I'm wrong. I
The
know.
algorithm, yeah,
Yes.
I don't know. It's very likely. I think that's a very likely scenario. And, you're still making the shots, so maybe something will click. Maybe you'll figure out the algorithm. Maybe you'll
Yeah,
be
you know what? Last week I got pissed. So you know
did
what I did?
what you do.
I went on actually LinkedIn, and when there was a position posted, I wrote below the position that I applied for this position and I got denied. I would like a chance.
Keep on trying. I mean, that's probably not gonna work, but, maybe it will. Maybe
Yeah,
logic applies, right?
maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't.
But you
It's
definitely will not make it if you don't try, and that's
yeah,
true of a lot of us. I don't know, the main thing is I'm not really scrambling to try to knock anybody's doors down. I applied for a job recently myself,
yeah.
face to face, and I went over and did what they called a trail, where I worked behind the little bar area, pulling, espresso shots for different drinks during the 10 to noon time frame. Talked a little bit with the manager afterwards and the regional manager. Seemed to be a good rapport. Haven't heard back. I don't
Mm.
think. I keep checking my phone just to make sure I'm right about that. And if they do get back to me, great. If they don't get back to me, well, I know that the staff there seems to be interested in, having me join them, maybe. I don't know. Um, it does feel that way. But as far as the manager goes, he hasn't gotten back. And I'm just like, figure he's busy. Figure that it's not a high priority for him right now. Not hearing anything is not no. Let's see. Oh, still nothing. There it is. February 16th is our last interaction. And it's the 20th, so it's only 4 days. And maybe I'll get a shot at being front of the house at daily provisions. Maybe I won't. I like the ethos of the owner,
Uh-huh.
overall of the Union Square Hospitality Group. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but basically he puts employees before customers.
Yes, we talked about it
Or
because you went
client.
on an interview when we last talked.
That's kind of a nice rhythm
Yeah.
to have, I think, is that he puts his employees up there. And I can feel that they're a pretty cohesive group right now, and the vibe in the place is kinda mellow, and we got really busy on Monday because it was so many people for the
Hmm.
holiday and all, President's Day, they call it for whatever reason. Anyway, um, I don't know. I keep looking at the world, like I said. I think that together we can make it better. I think that just about everybody on here who's listening to us, if they are listening, agrees. I can see Angel Woods thinks quite a bit about what we're saying and is enjoying
Yeah.
it. Those were awesome, actually. That's nice in all caps. I
Yeah,
I don't know about that, but okay. Maybe. Maybe we're awesome.
I think we are. I think we talk about a lot of things that are important to
Yeah,
humanity. And I think it's good to raise questions. It's good to have the exploratory mindset. It's good not to be stuck and be hopeless, right?
right.
And
Be optimistic
discussion.
because, yeah, it's more fun.
Yeah.
I do think that, I'm not optimistic all the time. I wake up I mean, I've actually had a feeling of, like, kinda frustrated, tired yesterday, so I went to bed at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd spent some time with some people, and it kinda drains me, you know?
Yeah.
So I went in the back here and tucked myself in, and I told Len, "Maybe we'll get up and go to the store." She came around about 6 o'clock saying, "You've been in for a while," and I was like, "I think I'll just stay here," and I did until, like,
Mhm.
4 5 in the morning. This morning, I was up and I was writing.
Yeah.
I put out a post on Substack. It was called "The Saga Continues," I think.
I think I saw it. I
Mhm.
haven't had a chance
Saga.
to read it. But I
And
think we all need a break
it's
sometime, you know?
kind of a random thing where I just start writing, and I highly recommend doing that to everybody. Just write.
Yeah.
Write on Substack and see if people don't catch fire for what you're doing. They don't really catch that much fire for what I'm doing. I've got 22 paid subscribers. I've got about 808, I think, subscribers overall. I've gone down a little bit. I must have done something to cause some people to unsubscribe, but okay, I don't write for them. I write for the ones who do subscribe. And
And
I
it's
don't even write for them. I write for me and that inner light within me that
yeah.
feels it needs to be expressed. I channel something, I don't know what it is, that wants to be heard. And I think all of us have the ability to channel through our fingertips and through our particular lens of experience that which might want to be heard, like your poetry.
Absolutely. Not everybody can write. Some
I don't
people have no inclination, no interest to write, but words do matter. Spoken words, discussions, written words, music, as you mentioned earlier, songs, poetry,
have
all
a
those things, they do matter. And maybe there's going to be that one line that one person reads that you wrote, or I wrote, or we wrote together that's going to make a difference
600 years.
in somebody's life. Maybe it's going to be the slogan of the next president. I don't know. You just don't know
Oh,
what can inspire and who can be inspired. We just do what feels right. If it feels right to write, please do write. Hi. Hi, Shiv. Thank you for joining us.
yeah, and hi, Brian and Selena. I didn't say hi to them yet in my written text.
Yeah,
Oh,
welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our conversation. And I just have to say that I'm grateful for you, Paul, because I think it's great that you're so open. I feel like you're one of my people. I could just say, hey, you want to have a conversation? And we have a conversation
yeah, I
and just be safe
appreciate
and
it.
open about it and try to make this world a better place. And I love the knowledge and the experience you have, and then how you support other people and share what they are doing and share books and talk about authors and writers and music and good
Mhm.
people in this world. I think we need more of that.
We need to send the ripple effects out there, right?
Yeah.
Uh, you never know, and I'm really grateful for you reaching out to me because sometimes I'm not talking to people. Like yesterday, for instance, when I sacked out, I wasn't talking to anybody. I got a call from a guy on the left coast, up near where you used to be. He has a goat farm.
Okay.
It's when he rang, there was a picture of a goat. It woke me up out of my nap. And couldn't put together what the hell I was looking at. Goat, but I think he understood it, and he left me a voice message. I need to get back to him at some point. I told him I'd be around. As he responded, "No, not to the text I asked," and that he sent me a peace sign earlier today because I sent out to my tribe, and did I send it to you too? I don't know. Yeah. How can I help you, sir? Did you actually listen to that little YouTube link I sent you where you said you had trouble with YouTube? No? No, you didn't have trouble with YouTube.
Are you asking me? No, I didn't have trouble with YouTube. I know you sent me something.
Yeah, it was Pete
I
Townshend's "How Can I Help You, Sir?" live, which is
Yes.
him on acoustic guitar, and he's singing this song about how can I help you if you can't help yourself? If you can't open yourself up to be helped.
Do we want to play that song? You want to play that song?
No.
No? Okay.
I don't, because, I don't think it'll go over, for one thing. There's
Okay.
filters on the microphones and things, so it won't actually it'll probably be crappy sound quality.
Okay.
But the point was, what he was saying was, "How can I help you
Yeah.
if you're not receptive to help?"
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting because a lot of us need help desperately. We have a real hard time asking for it. Kinda like wanting a job and having a really hard time getting one. I've
Yeah.
been out of work since August 2nd, 2024, so I established the Harold B. Gill Foundation, LLC, and this is my work. I just
Yeah.
pulled my profit loss statement from last year. You know how much? It managed to lose
How much?
$104,000. That's my profit loss statement. That's a lot,
Yeah.
but when it comes tax time, that's gonna help because we're actually
Hopefully.
not in total negative zone, but my wife's earnings weren't a whole lot more, so basically we subsidized ourselves out of savings, which are dwindling. So I just spent some time today meeting with a Raymond James expert on finances who's been handling Lynn's mom's money, and then Lynn has inherited her mom's money as her mom passed away at the age of 92 in 2022. Almost missed by a week, November, 2 weeks. But anyway, you get the point. And,
So how did you get into negative? Because
Sure.
of not getting paid, or you bought stuff, or what you
Yeah,
doing?
my expenses get passed through my company.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that's why I've lost that much, basically.
Mhm.
I ordinarily earn in my past jobs I've had well over that,
Yeah.
but I haven't secured another one. And a lot of that is because of this, I think. You know?
I don't
I'm
know.
getting older. I'm 63 years old. There's a
Well,
lot of ages
hey,
in
I'm on the same boat, and I'm 51, so I don't know if it's that.
well, I do think it's that. I do think that's part of it. It's not the
Mhm.
only thing,
Yeah.
but it's a large part of it, right? I've gotten to a stage where I am ripe for retirement. I ought to be it, considering my age. And the back in the day, 60 was about, dead. When I was growing up, it was not unusual for people to be dropping dead at 60. And they still are. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
as many. It's much more likely we'll live into our 70s and that we'll have health issues along the way. And our system, as you know, is not built to take care of us when we're well. It's built to take
Not
care of us
really.
only when we're in some sort of extremis.
Yeah.
So I think we need to talk about those things too. And maybe
Yeah.
we have solutions for that, maybe we don't. Right now, I don't think we do, and I think what we really require in this country is a revolution. Again, I'm all about revolutions, the whole fight and drum thing.
Mhm.
Let's get behind
I think a health revolution would be great, to focus on
Yes,
how to, instead of a sick care system, a well care system.
yes.
So doctors would only get paid if the patient is well, not if they are sick.
That'll go over like a lead balloon, but the doctors themselves are under the gun in the systems we have now, don't you think?
Yes. What I don't like,
You're
and this
trying
could be an outrage. Should I do an outrage one?
Yeah, please,
No.
let's go.
Okay.
Don't hurt
So
yourself.
what
No.
what I don't like in the current system is that an insurance company can dictate how to take care of a person.
Right.
So, for example, my doctor did not prescribe the MRI for me, waited 5 months to prescribe the MRI for me for my ankle, because it was too expensive. So
Were you
before
down in
you have
the
to
States then? Or were you
Hmm?
still in India? Were you in India then, or were you back in the
No,
States?
I was in the US.
Okay. But the
So
injury happened in India, right? And they didn't give
the
you an
injury happened
MRI?
in India. 2 days later, I was back in the US. I went to my doctor. I said my ankle hurts. I was sent to physiotherapy. The physiotherapist said it's broken and there's other issues. Yet I had to wait 2 months to say, no, it's I can't progress. It's hurts. It's painful. And then another 2 months, and finally close to 5 months, I got an MRI.
On the ankle. Okay.
on the ankle, which had three different things going on with that. It had a break, it had a part of a cartilage that was broken, and it also had a ligament that was completely torn. And
Yeah.
I needed a new one.
Right.
So, but I had to wait 5 months to get that done. Then it could have been done sooner. But because of insurance companies and because of all these loopholes you have to go through and you have to try first,
Right.
I had to wait. And because of that, it was part of that I lost my job, right?
Is that in,
Because I couldn't drive to work. And I used up all my FMLA. I used up all my sick time. I used up all my vacation time because of this injury. And,
I
you know,
see.
yeah.
That's
So
really
I'm outraged that it's not a doctor who can say, I think this would be the best medicine for you. I think this would be the best therapy for you. I think this would be the best diagnostic for you. It's the insurance companies dictate what you can and cannot do instead of a doctor making an honest whole body health checkup, not just part of your body, a whole body checkup, and check everything and make sure you're well. I would love to see a wellness model instead of a sick-based model.
Yes, I would too. I gotta admit, I've actually sprung for a one medical group membership. Which are you familiar with that?
I heard about it, yes.
And that does give me access quickly to medical professionals, but I had to pay extra for it, right? And paying out of the box for that.
Yeah.
Now Amazon bought them.
Mm.
So I expect to see less and less good service. Luckily, my health is actually pretty good. I've just dumb luck, dumb genetics or something. I don't get sick
Mm.
much. Um,
That's good.
well, so far, I do need to fix some things. And my cardiologist and I met, day after my birthday to make sure
Yes.
that I was going to keep in the game. And apparently, I get to see him again February 8th, provided I don't die in the meantime.
Please don't. We need you.
And we're so lucky here. I am. And it's just dumb luck at that. But I think I spend a lot of time in a space of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could be more grateful for the systems that support our society because
Yeah.
we're capable of better than what we've got. We collectively in Western society and Eastern society, we are a global society now. And it is getting there. I have the optimism that we're getting there. And how it will emerge is not yet altogether clear. And the future is always difficult to predict. You know that, right?
Yeah.
There's a Yogi Berra quote I want to find that's back there somewhere about it's very difficult to make predictions, particularly about the future. That's a
Yeah.
joke. Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was a good guy. And we are graced with a lot of people who have left a lot for us in history, and we're leaving a track record ourselves. This is a body of work we're creating here. This will be
Absolutely.
part of mine.
Which, by the way, you and I talked about it. It could be in a book in the future, right?
Well, we'll see, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm so lazy. I'm so apt to just want to throw it out there, then leave it behind and go on to the next thing without
But
ever
I am not.
back
So,
and doing the editing and doing all the fancy stuff. There's no production value here.
but that's where I come in because I can do that stuff, right?
And now I've lost it. Oh, there it is. Well, my inspiration for this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Ever do talk about that before?
I don't know.
A book of
Book of
days. My
Travis Smith.
Patty Smith. This is one thing. She does a book of days of every day of the week, every year. And there's her cat, Cairo.
Yeah.
Passed away just
I
out.
think you showed me that before, and then I think you
Yeah.
read something from it. Yeah.
And today's was really striking to me because it gives the dates of this guy's life. This is a snapshot she did of Kurt Cobain.
Okay.
You may know him from Nirvana, or maybe
Yeah.
not. I don't know. Anyway, it's 20th of February. In his fleeting life, all aspects of his work embodied the sacred and damned duality of being a rock and roll star. Kurt Cobain, February 20th, 1967. So this is his birthday. To April 5th, 1994. And a lot of my writing today ended up focusing on that because April 5th, 1994, was about a week before my ex-wife arrived with the U-Haul van to take half the furniture and our healthy cat from our little vinyl palace out in Fox Ridge neighborhood of Williamsburg, Virginia, to go back up to Northeast. I never saw her again. Um, and he had committed suicide right about then. And I got to admit, I wasn't feeling really great myself about myself, knowing my then wife was about to take everything that wasn't nailed down that she felt like taking. Didn't leave me about half the furniture. Um, and I was going to get to embark on the rest of my life without her support. I just put her through school to get certified to teach art. And she had taken a job 500 miles away. And this is before I got email, right? So long distance phone calls being expensive, that came up earlier. Anyway,
Yeah.
broke marriage, basically. And the ex boyfriend from high school didn't really help matters much when he was willing to come back into her life from San Diego, where he was at the time. And, so hitting Patty Smith's thing, she is my inspiration for everything I'm doing here practically, because I caught her on Substack just going live from her bedroom, reading us Uncle Wiggily
Yeah.
or Dr. Seuss or whatever, and checking in with us, uh, who are her Substack crew. And all of you who might be listening to Gabriella and me, you're our Substack crew.
Yes, you are.
The best thing you can do for either of us is amplify our signal through the noise. You know how to restack things, you know how to share things, you know how to make notes. Do it. Let's hear your book.
So this is another book. This is called Inspirational Poetry and Positive Writing Journal. And I just want to read, this is my book, but I would like to read a poem from it that's kind of appropriate right now, because I think that's what we are doing. It's called Shine So Bright.
Okay.
Brighter than any light, shining so bright. Walking in the plane of the sky, the love of the red carpet rolls out very high. Your heart was golden in my eyes. Your cooking was better than those of God's. My heart smiles every time I think of you. You suffered and preserved in life with grace. War and hunger did not bring you down. You cared for your children like there was nothing else. You showed me love to the highest standard. No questions are needed. The past is the past. Come here, my darling. Grandma holds you the best. Hold me tight and never let go. I still feel the hug from forever ago. My thoughts wander to our adventures with joy. You are the star that guides my life. You are the shine I seek as my guide. I wrote this poem to my grandmother, Night Barbara, who was one of the most kind and loving human I know on earth. May you rest in peace, Grandma, Mama. I feel your love still today, and even though you have passed on so long ago, you always brought the shine into my life. And I just think that we bring shine into other people's lives. And if we can keep doing that, we are doing something good. Because I remember all the shine that my grandma brought into my life. The love, the caring, the connection, the support. So I think the more we can do that, we can make a difference. We are making a difference. We are shining. That's my hope.
Yep. I don't doubt it. And I bet your grandmother really appreciates that. You know?
I'm sure she's watching and smiling right now.
I don't know if you remember, maybe I talked about it, maybe I didn't, about Mr. Rogers receiving a lifetime award for his Emmy, lifetime award or whatever for daytime television. And him saying, just take a minute time and think of someone who's loved you into being. And he just watched the minute pass by, and my sweet second hand isn't working, so now it is. Well, I don't think I'll take a whole minute. That took 5 seconds. But it's important, right? And what he says at the end of that minute was, just think how pleased that person would be to know that you thought of them in this moment. When there wasn't a dry eye in the house, it was really adorable. I am so lucky to have just been able to bounce along through life And I don't really do anything with the plan. I basically just sort of bumper card my way from being, after my wife left, a teaching assistant at the University of Pittsburgh,
Hmm.
then to the Carnegie Museum of Art for a while in the conservation department, which is really exciting, and also doing adjunct teaching in the university, and getting it out to Denmark, working in the Web 500 software company. Um, Nice little dot bomb, didn't last too long, but for nearly 2 years, I was living in Denmark, for God's sakes,
Yeah.
going around Europe very easily. Spent my 39th birthday at Tossa de Mar. Have you ever been down to the Costa Brava in Spain?
No, I have not.
I would recommend it. It was recommended to me by a Dutch guy who's, I think, back over in Holland now, but he was over here in the States for a bit. My wife and I took him out to dinner one time in Bethesda when he was pitching his pitch, whatever it was, at blackboard.com, I think it was, here in DC. But anyway, Young was an interesting character, and he recommended that I go to Girona.
Hmm.
I met him in Milan and was driving over to Gargnano for a conference by the Lago di Garda. Have you ever been up in northern Italy, the Lago di Garda area or anything? In the Alps?
Not really. I've been in other parts of Italy, but not there. I've been in Venice and Florence, some of
Venice
those.
is lovely, and Florence
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
I've been to both, and I've had that luck to just be able to go places and do
Hmm.
things
Yeah.
in a while. I mean, it's been a while. 2006 maybe might have been my last time over there, when I went over just for New Year's Eve in Rome. I came back to
That's
DC.
great.
Oh well, I was nuts, but I could do it. That
Yeah.
was the thing. I could. I don't have a passport right now, so I can't get out of the country. Help. But I'll get a passport if I really want one. It's not so hard. Um, I don't know. When I stop and think about the bumper car, though, of my career, Denmark was,
Hmm.
then I came back to the States, not knowing really what I was going to do, and living with my folks at 39 years old, for God's sakes. Dating a young woman from Algeria who happened to live in Virginia Beach then, and I think still does, maybe. I don't know. I'll be back in France. No idea. Um, and it doesn't matter much. I mean, we're good friends, I think, even now, but I haven't talked to her in a heck of a long time. Building those relationships and then keeping them healthy, though, I think is really important for us too. And I've
Yeah.
got a message for our audience. It's that, come on to our podcast, be a part of it all, spread out that web of connections. You're doing other podcasts with other people, right?
Yes.
So who else should we boost?
Well, I do a podcast with Gabriella who is my one of my partners in crime, and we wrote a book together that's called Weaving Connections: Nature Walks Across Continents.
Right.
And she's also an editor with Dancingelephantspress, which is my publication. And I recently did a podcast with Rue McHenrick, and he is this amazing guy who did the American Perimeter Trail. And, he mapped the whole thing. He was out there during COVID for 3 years and then went back for 2 more years to create this
Right.
map that's like a free app that you can download.
Amazing.
And he wrote a book. He published the first book, and he's working on his second book. So he would like to, if anybody can support the American Perimeter Trail, I think it's a great way to get out in nature.
Yes.
I'm working also with, we didn't do a podcast, but we are working on a book to be published about grief with a great therapist called Samantha Turpin. So we are planning to do a podcast soon with her to kind of promote her book and talk about grief. And she also did a workbook called The Next Chapter in Life that's kind of help you prepare about that, because, that is part of life. Many people don't leave their affairs in order. And then the family and friends, they don't know what they want. So she wrote this whole amazing workbook about that, just kind of what you want and how you want to leave things when you leave this planet Earth for this time, at least around. So those are just some people that immediately pop in my head. I did a podcast with D.R. Rawson. Um, called, he's working on this CIC character thing, like good characters, what kind of good characters you should have as a human. Um, so, it kind of just like depends who is available. I did one with Annalise Lords. She's an amazing writer. And I think she's just working on a new book that she's planning to publish right now. But she writes a way that she creates these scenarios and stories that happen in life and people having a conversation, but you always learn something magical in the end.
Oh,
And she is also an editor with dancingelephantspress, and she posts her stories in the publication. And she just posted one, I think, yesterday or today.
oh, great.
So,
Are you actually using your press publication, posting it there? Is it part of Substack or where is that?
yeah. It's Substack and it's also on Medium. We also did like a two-part series right now with Gary Friedman. Gary Friedman is a genius. He is an amazing photographer. He wrote many books about photography and also how to like specific cameras, how you use the cameras to get the best pictures.
Oh, good.
Um, he also takes tours to people to Africa to do photography. And he just did this two-part series about, one of them was about the slums in Africa, and one of them was about the villages. Beautiful pictures, great story. And of course, there's a foundation you can support for kids to go to school that he writes about. So,
Interesting.
I'm trying to elevate and support these people who are willing to be kind of our tribe, kind of trying to do what you and I try to do, have a conversation, do something good for the world, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we can't really do enough, I think, to boost people who are doing good work. And thanks for the rundown. We're gonna have to put all that into text too, to understand what we said. Another thing that sprung to mind when you were talking about publishing on Substack is that these are, things you can support by subscribing. And
Yeah.
if people are listening to us, please do consider becoming paid subscribers. For me, it makes you a part of the board of directors of the Harold B. Gill Foundation, LLC, which leads tremendous losses. But it could be producing games that it would take a
And
long
for me, you
time
help me.
expenses.
Yeah,
So,
and for me, you help me keep the lights on, help me support the writers, help with my time.
yep.
And I don't have a job right now. So any income is help to keep me doing this, keep meeting with her, having conversations, writing books, trying to spread that positivity and light in the world.
I had a guest, hopefully you can find it out there. Melanie Sumner was my guest just recently. She contacted me, I think, and asked to be on it. And we ended up talking, having an hour and a half conversation. And she's got a mystery out there ready to go. She was teaching a tenured track position, and she let it go to, follow her bliss out to Taos, New Mexico, where she was talking to me from there. And we also have, of course, coming soon, Sunday at 1 o'clock, um, Tall Tales of a Short Childhood by Philip Chalmers. He's on the Intrepid Editor Press. I don't think
Nice.
I've run across this Philip yet, but he has a thing called The Long Wave Home that he's doing, which is a radio show that is
Okay.
actually put out on community radio stations around the country as well. So we'll look at the latest version of that that should be released tomorrow. And then I have him on the day after he releases to talk about it on Harold.
Nice. That's
So yeah,
great.
it's really nice of him to do that with me. The Philip Chalmers is the guy who was responsible for that United Airlines little jingle with used da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da, da-da-da, the little bit of Rhapsody in Blue. He actually
Mhm.
programmed that
Nice.
as a work for hire. He said he made his money off of that. Never saw another dime. But interesting character, the Philip Chalmers,
Mhm.
and findable as at the Intrepid Editor Press. Um, so he did that book. He did some others I've got around here. I went and bought his books at the time when I was feeling really flush. So it was part of the expenses of my company is to buy the works of other writers to boost their sales a little bit. Every bit counts, every penny we spend, every cent we spend is a vote
Yeah.
on the world we want to co-create. And there it is, Dancing Elephants Press Publications. Thank you for putting that in there for us. I know I've taken a lot of your time now. It looks like we're coming up on an hour and 20 minutes.
Yes.
Are you ready to wrap?
We
I
can wrap it up. Sure.
I
It's getting late here. It's
find
9 o'clock.
Okay, let me
So,
let you go. And, give us something to chew on as we leave the room.
well, I think, we talked about a lot of different topics today, but I think one takeaway for me, one things I like to ask from people, if you can send a message out to the world, one message, what would it be? And my message today to the world is to practice being a kind human and see where it takes you. Like, what can you lose?
Now, so my last word is just gonna be a quotation I just found,
Okay.
just randomly. I think random finds are sometimes useful. I don't know if
Yes.
it's really gonna resonate or not, but it's from The Writing Life by Annie Dillard. I don't know if you know Annie, but she's a writer who did, most famously, The Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, chapter 6. And this is the quote from William James: "If this life be not a real fight, in which something is eternally gained for the universe by success, it is no better than a game of private theatricals from which one may withdraw at will, but it feels like a real fight." And I think there's something to be said for the frictions that we can generate, as well as the kinds of feelings of identification we can generate. All of it can be font for grist for the mill, if you will,
Yeah,
and feed our
absolutely.
creative work.
Yes.
Love and light. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Same to you. And
Well,
same to everybody who was here and who will ever watch us in the future.
yes,
You
please. And who knows? Maybe people will be watching us 700 years from now. We'll
you
see.
never know. There's magic in the world.
Indeed. Hasta la vista.
Bye bye. Bye everyone.